I don't want to just like make fun of these people. Like I want to learn about them and then make fun of them. Can I swear on you?
Please.
Can I take a shit on the bed? Yeah. Most of it is touring then. And most
Really?
of the revenue
It's that
comes from
significant?
Money just shows up.
Skibbity, you know that one?
No.
Okay.
Can I take a guess at Rizzler?
I was my mind blown that no one has talked about it yet.
Do you feel equipped and comfortable to have that conversation, or is that?
Yeah, dude, that's interesting. I don't really...
Today on the Colin and Samir Show, we're joined by Kurtis Conner. Kurtis started his career as an aspiring comedian doing open mics in college, and he was one of the first of his friends to take his comedy to Vine.
Hey, can you come pick me up? Sure. Thank you so much, man.
Anytime, dude.
10 years later, what makes Kurtis so interesting to us is that he has both a successful YouTube career with over 4 million subscribers and a successful career in stand-up comedy. In this episode, we talk about the growth of Kurtis's business on YouTube over the past 10 years, the economics of touring and selling merch, and how to write a joke that makes millions of people laugh. This was honestly one of the funniest episodes we've ever recorded. I hope you laugh as hard as we did while we were recording it. Colin actually started crying after one of the stories that Kurtis told. This episode is sponsored by Discord. Earlier this year, we launched our Discord server, and it's been an incredible way for us to get closer to our community. We have channels in our Discord dedicated to video feedback, thumbnail feedback, discussions around creator news. We've actually hosted live stages where we bring members from the community on stage to talk to each other. We talk about this all the time, but the next chapter of the creator economy is all about building depth with your community, and launching a Discord server has been the best way for us to build a deeper connection with our audience. It's not just about us as creators making content for our community. We want to be creating with our community. Our community on Discord gives us ideas on who we should have on this show. They've even designed merch capsules for us. So it's a truly collaborative experience. And most recently, we actually started selling Colin's handwriting in our Discord using their server shop. So if you have a Discord server and you're a creator, it's not just about building a community, it's actually offering you a new way to monetize. Creators can launch individual digital products as well as monthly subscriptions and memberships. Launching this Discord server has given us a home for our community. And if you're a creator looking for the same thing, click the link in our description, learn more about Discord. All right, now for our interview with Kurtis Conner.
That's a great shirt.
Thank you. I got it in Amsterdam.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know that you are all over Pinterest? Like Kurtis Conner outfit.
Yeah.
Is on, like that's a thing on Pinterest.
There's a lot of those. Yeah.
That's pretty aspirational.
That's what I was gonna say. I think.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah.
I looked at myself in the mirror today and I thought, that's not on Pinterest. I'm not finding that.
It's okay.
Yeah, not yet.
We can make it so. Yeah.
Kurtis Conner, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I feel like your name has to be said together.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, also for people listening, I could have said Kurtis and could have been anyone.
Could have been Curtis. Could have been Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent.
Did I call you Connor before? All of a sudden in my head, I was like, wait.
I don't think
I
so.
didn't, right?
Yeah, because if you did, I would have left.
Yeah.
I would have gone home.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I would have shoved you or something. Yeah. No,
Okay.
you didn't.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, you do have to say the full name. Sometimes people say Curtis, and I just won't even look. I don't.
Right,
Like,
got
what?
it.
Who is it?
Yeah.
You got to say
Could have been
the whole
anyone.
thing. Yeah. I don't know.
All right.
But thanks for having me. I watch your guys' videos all the time, so this is awesome.
Dude,
Really
thank
cool.
you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was catching up with some of your very old videos.
You don't have to do that.
And like I know
Come on.
I know, and like when I think about you, you are one of these like OG creators. And it's strange that like a decade has gone by of uploading YouTube videos, and even prior to that, Vine.
Yeah.
It's strange to have this crop of creators who've been doing this thing for a decade.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most interesting things about you is you're doing it in the way that it was done, from the beginning. Like what made me fall in love with YouTube was that people could sit in their room and tell stories and attract millions of people by doing that. It's pretty amazing that like that is still the core of what you make.
Yeah. I mean, those are the videos that I love to watch myself. And like that's same, like I grew up watching like old YouTube and stuff. It's like the beauty of YouTube is like you can just sit in a room and just like talk about whatever, and then people are gonna watch it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There was a comment on one of your most recent videos. Like one of the most liked comments, and it said, Kurtis is like your funny uncle who comes over every once in a while. And it was like one of the most liked ones. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, like, actually, that's a wonderful description of Kurtis Conner.
Just a silly guy that shows up sometimes.
The silly uncle. That was my favorite, the second part of it. It shows up every once in a while.
The occasional uncle.
Yeah, unannounced. Yeah, I'm here again.
Yeah, they're like, wow, great.
Want me to talk for a while?
But like on the flip side of sitting in your room and delivering, a well thought out piece of content to the to a camera, you do stand up. And some of the scenes I've seen from you have a tour vlog channel, and we're back. Some of the scenes there are insane. Like those are thousands of people watching you do something. Yeah,
it was a dream come true. Which is like the other amazing part of YouTube and having an audience who likes what you're putting out is like they'll actually come and support what you're doing in real life too, which is crazy.
I actually think that's going to be the differentiator in the next chapter of creators is creators who can draw a crowd and that crowd will actually show up.
Yeah.
Is like that to me is like that you're building a brand that has a lot of depth.
Right.
Because I think the other side, it's gotten very confusing to look at and be like, what does 1 million views on a short mean?
Right.
Right? Or on a TikTok. Like, does that mean something? Or even like having a video go viral. Is there something happening there or was the concept just good?
Right.
And the repeated like compounding nature of what you've done, which is a decade of audience building, that can like 3,500 people will show up when 2 to 3, sometimes 10 million people are watching your videos.
Right. Yeah, that's the best part. I mean, like to be fair, it took a. Can I swear on here?
Please.
Okay.
Actually, we're trying to just get a little more edgy.
Because I was really trying to hold it back, but it slips
we
out
do
sometimes.
give off the vibe of a show.
The amount of times people ask, can they swear
concerning.
before they just go ahead and swear?
Well, everything's so nice here.
It's frankly
it's like too homey in here, I guess.
I think it's,
Can I take a shit on the bed?
Yeah, maybe mess it up a little bit.
Can I liven this place up?
Yeah, please.
That'd be a crazy title. You'd have a great title.
Kurtis Conner
shits on our desk.
new desk.
Yeah, it's brand new too.
It's brand new.
And the whitest desk, the cleanest.
It's super clean right now. It would stand out.
Such a bummer if I crapped on it. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Be a killer thumbnail.
Yeah. No, I won't.
Cool. So
I should go without saying. But.
You can swear.
Yeah. Okay. That being said, I can swear. Okay. What was I saying? We were talking.
Now
about?
you gotta you have to bring it now. You can't not bring it.
Yeah.
Consider that our parental advisory for this episode.
Crap.
Oh.
Sorry.
Nice.
Sorry, guys. Well, I forget I was talking.
We were talking about putting 3,500 people in seats.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think
I was
you were saying like, to be fair, it took a while.
Yeah.
It took a very long time. It took because I was doing stand-up before any video stuff, like before any Vine, before YouTube. Like I was doing stand-up. I was doing open mics in Toronto in like basements of bars and stuff for just like other comedians in the audience that were waiting to go up after me. And it's like, that sucked. So it's like, I think that it helped out a lot that I did it before YouTube because I had the expertise and stuff and like the confidence to sort of like go out and be like, I know how to put a show together. I know how to write a joke. And I know how to deliver a joke to an audience. Because like, I was thinking about it the other day, if I like started YouTube and then started to like do stand-up after, I'd be so terrified and there'd be so much more pressure on me. Because I'm like, I have to like rise to the occasion and I hope it's good. But so that worked out well that I just like got through all the crappy, shitty parts before, like when I was starting out. And then I was able to sort of grow both parts of it like simultaneously, I guess.
There's a crop of creators right now who kind of blew up during the pandemic and are now pursuing comedy with millions of people following them. And I've talked to a few of them and actually went to a show that was all TikTok creators.
Whoa.
And it was a packed room.
Yeah.
And the material just wasn't there.
Right.
Like they just weren't there. And the reality is it's probably their 5th show.
Yeah.
It's like you need time to develop. But if you're developing in front of an audience.
Exactly, yeah.
The thing that I have been thinking about a lot, and we've talked about before on the show, is like there's no ability anymore to practice in private. when you become a creator at that scale.
Right.
Whether it's comedy or your craft of making videos, the feeling is like, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to upload it.
Yeah, yeah.
When actually, like, if you came from the era pre-internet, you made a lot of videos that nobody saw, that you just
Right.
watched back and you were like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure for you also, before having people know your name, going to open mics, the stakes are way lower.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can say whatever you want and
Yeah.
do whatever you want. You can shit on tables. Yeah, and I did. That's why it took me so long.
Didn't you also go to school for comedy, like sketch comedy? or
Yeah,
shit?
Humber.
Humber College.
College?
Yeah, I'm a Humber Hawk. Shout
So
out my
you are the
Hawks.
first Humber Hawk we've had on the show.
Right.
Whoa,
the
yeah,
first
yeah.
one.
Okay.
Wait, so what is that? That's like a comedy school, or they had a
Well, it's a college in Toronto, and they have a program there called Comedy: Writing and Performance. Colon is the 2 dots.
Okay, got it.
not colon.
yeah, it wasn't like biological.
Yeah,
also.
yeah. That's the weird part of the program. Yeah, so it's a 2-year program. It's really weird to talk about because it's like I don't know how much I actually learned there. With like any program, I feel like in the arts, I feel like more so it's good to just be around other people who are doing the same stuff as
Totally.
you and have the same goals and like mindset, I guess. Because if I just did stand up, if I just moved to Toronto and just like went for it, I don't know if I'd still be doing it. I probably would have got discouraged and just like quit and just like got a job somewhere else. Cause like with going to college, I met like really great people and we'd like just go out every night and do shows together. And it's like a real like camaraderie thing. If like one of us bombs or like all of us bombs, and it's like, whatever, it's all good. We're gonna go get
Yeah, like, we're
beers
going through the
after, yeah.
messiness together.
Yeah, yeah.
Of like the figuring this out.
Right, and there was no, like, it's so crazy because it wasn't that long ago in like the grand scheme of things, but I remember like bringing a camera and filming your set at like an open mic or a show was like really like not frowned upon, but people were like, fucking Hollywood over
like,
here.
who
What
do you think you are,
Yeah,
man?
exactly.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like people were like,
Even to watch it back, like just the context of like, I just
Yeah.
want to see how this went.
yeah, people were just like, don't,
That's not what it is.
yeah, it was just really, which it's totally fair to do that and just like film your own set
Yeah.
and like see how it looks. But like people were still like, get that out of here, man. What are you doing?
Yeah.
It was really, it's crazy to think about that now because like I feel like everyone is filming their sets and putting them out on TikTok and stuff. But
So where are you during that time? You're going to college, you're learning about comedy writing, doing sets. Like where are you with your journey of, I should probably make a Vine?
the beauty of Vine was like it was just so easy to make videos and put it out. Like I think YouTube was really daunting to me at the time because it was like there was like a whole editing process and then uploading was like you needed a title and it was like it was just seemed really intimidating to me. But like Vine was so easy and like effortless in a way.
My dad takes photos of famous people. He's my paparazzi.
And just like the time constraint was really fun too. It was like really challenging to like make a good joke like land in that short amount of time. And I just like fell in love with it. And I was also, when I started doing comedy, I was like strictly like a one-liner guy. Like I was only writing like just like set up punchline. I didn't have like stories or anything like that. So Vine like lended itself like really well to that because it was just like, it was short and all my jokes were short. So I was like, I'll just do that. And yeah, I would just make videos on days where I wasn't going out and doing stand-up. And one took off one day. And
Do you know which one that was?
I do, yeah.
What was it?
It was so stupid. It was like, there's this table and I took my pants off. And I shit. No, sorry, I'll stop talking.
That bit won't die.
Yeah. Had to be a really quick poo to do a 6-second one. It was like me in my room and I was like, hey, instead of engaging in misogyny, why don't you just massage a knee? And then I rubbed my knee.
That's a dumb joke.
It was
but I
really
like it.
stupid.
Yeah.
Hey, you had a good message.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Really tugged at the heart.
Positive, uplifting message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's good. It could have been way worse in terms of like message.
Yeah.
Like you go like way back in some comedians' past.
Yeah.
True, yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
do you remember the one? You're like, I do.
I do, but
I
I
do.
yeah,
I'd
Could you
rather
tell us
not.
about it?
No.
Yeah,
I think my favorite one of your old Vines, it's so dumb, but it made me laugh out loud, is the roasted peanuts.
Here are your peanuts. Oh, I actually wanted them roasted. Oh, my mistake.
boy, what are you doing?
It's like,
That-
boy, what are you?
That was like a very creative play on words and just like, I don't know, it was so Vine. Like there was such a style at that time to what a Vine joke was.
right. Yeah.
And I don't know, that was like, it feels to me almost like Vine was ahead of its time in a way,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? And like
Yeah.
there's this weird staying power to people who are successful on Vine
Mm-hmm.
that almost feels somewhat unexplainable. When you look into it, sure, you can say like, okay, that you got to practice a lot more than other people because you probably made more videos,
Oh yeah.
right? Than someone
Yeah.
who starts on YouTube to catch up to how many Vines someone would make. People were making 2-3 Vines a day,
Oh yeah. Easy. Yeah.
right? So
Right.
like maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But what do you think that is of like, why are like Cody, you, even the Paul brothers, like that, like
Yeah.
some people just have crazy staying power.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think for the most part, I feel like I didn't make any money on Vine. Like I think I did like one brand deal and they never paid me. So that was cool. But I was supposed to get paid, but it never happened.
Is it like Bengay for like massaging a knee?
Yeah, oh, that would have been clutch. Yeah.
Cut
Yeah.
that part, Jesse.
yeah.
Move on. Yeah, cut
No,
that
no,
out.
keep
Yeah.
it in.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
it in.
Let's circle back to the shit on the table.
Yeah.
That one seems to be hitting.
That bit was hitting.
I didn't know that's how you pronounce it. I think that's why I was thrown off.
What did you think it was?
That was Bengay or something. I didn't know it
Sounds
was
almost like
Bengay.
cultural appropriation. Bengay. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know it was Ben Gay. I've been gay. I think, I didn't make any money from Vine, and I think it was the same for a lot of people. I know there was some like the top like percent of people were like, the King Batches, the Jerry Perp dranks, they were racking up the big bucks. But like, I think for Vine, it was like a lot of people were just making videos because they loved it and it was like funny and like really fun, and the community was really great and everyone was really supportive of each other. So I think like the main idea of Vine was like, just make a video as best as you can and just make it as funny as you can make it. And like, I think that sort of like stayed in my brain, as well as like Danny and Drew and Cody, like all just like, they're just like really funny people and love making good stuff. And I think that's like that's what you need to like stay in it. Like you need to like want to make good shit, and like you want to be proud
Really
of it.
interesting. That like the intentionality of Vines and making Vines was not necessarily commercially driven.
Right. Yeah. There was no creator fund or
Yeah,
anything
it like filters
that.
out the people who
Yeah.
were in it just for that. These were actually the people who were into making shit.
Right. Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
then I guess when we all like went over to YouTube, it was like, I guess we just kept that in our heads, being like, we can just make the best videos we can, and then like now we can actually get paid for it.
Do you feel like there was
hell?
almost similar to what you're talking about being in college? There was almost this communal nature. Like when you were uploading Vines, did you become friends with other people uploading Vines?
Oh yeah. Like it was so like, it was almost like it was encouraged pretty much. Like everyone, you'd see like a funny Vine, you'd go to their profile and like watch their other Vines, and you just like send them a message, and like it's just that easy. Like I know like some of my lifelong friends now are like from Vine, which is crazy. Like, yeah, it's crazy to think about, but that's like everybody was so supportive of each other, and like if you had like an idea that they were doing, you'd like hop on it and like do your own interpretation of it. It was just like such
probably like getting a text from one of those people being like, damn, that was really funny.
yeah.
That's like even for me right now, that to me is one of the highest forms of validation is
100%,
if another
yeah.
creator texts and was like, damn, I really liked that. Or I watch
Yeah.
your show. That's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I love your stuff. I like
That,
that
like,
to me is
Fires you up for like
Yeah.
the rest of the
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a good feeling. Yeah.
So
interesting.
amongst your comedy friends in college and also in Toronto, were you a bit of an anomaly in terms of like posting on Vine and then going to YouTube, or were there other people doing that?
I was pretty much, thinking back, I definitely made the most Vines out of everybody. Definitely.
Yeah.
I really put all my eggs in one basket there, which was probably not the best idea looking back. And it was just so shocking to me that nobody else was sort of doing that. Especially with Vine, it was so easy. It was like, it was 6 seconds. You just do, it was just super easy to do.
Was it shocking because you saw the potential of it helping your actual comedy career?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was like because it got the brain working in a different way too. It was like the process of writing like a joke for stand-up, it's so annoying. It sucks because it's like, I think this is really good. And then you like you drive to a place and you go on stage and you try it and then maybe it doesn't work. And you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to kill myself. That's awesome. I was really excited about this and nobody laughed. So like, that's like heartbreaking, but it's like a little less heartbreaking if it's like you post a Vine, maybe some people laugh, maybe some people like it, you know, maybe some people didn't fuck with it. Maybe a couple people did. And it was just like a different way it just kept the brain working in different ways where it was like, if you're only doing stand-up, I don't think you can become as good as a stand-up as you can be, because you should be trying to make other things also that can therefore help the stand-up as well. Because I think YouTube, like making YouTube videos and scripting videos and editing and putting together one piece of content has helped out my stand-up like way more than just like going to a bunch of open mics and like trying shit out. For me personally.
We talk about YouTube videos and, you know, editing is very similar to writing, where you have these blocks, right? Where it's like, actually, this would be funnier if this piece went over here. And now the joke works differently, or the story works differently if this is over here and this is over here. And you're actually, there's not many versions of that where, like, if you're writing it on paper, it's not like you can watch it back and hear it and be like, oh, that's funnier now.
Right.
So if you're writing out the joke, it's very different than if you're performing something on camera and actually moving blocks around. You see different iterations of how delivery works, right?
Yeah.
And how you
exactly.
feel when there's a different type of delivery or a different setup. So I think that makes total sense that like editing a video would help you. They
both help each other like tremendously, I think.
I think the response is softer generally.
Yeah.
Like, while you're growing on like YouTube, TikTok, and probably was on Vine, because if you put out something that's not funny, like algorithmically at some point, people just aren't going to see it anymore.
Right.
Like it was not delivering what the platform needed. If you've reached a point where you have a big audience and you put out something that all of a sudden is not funny, like you hear about it. But on your rise, like if it's bad, people just don't see it. Whereas on your rise doing stand-up, 100% of the people in the room, the maximum possible audience, like saw what you did.
They're gonna see it. They're never gonna forget,
and they couldn't even help their reaction. You know?
It's funny. Like 100 people in a room being silent is more dramatic than 2,000 people being like neutral or not really liking your stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Online.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's like way more dramatic to stand in front of 100 people and have them be like, "What's up with this guy?"
Oh, 100%. There's probably no worse feeling than that, than doing a joke that you're like so excited about, and then you say it, and then nobody makes any noise. It's like, even thinking about it now is like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta take a lap. Yeah, it sucks.
So going from 6 seconds and to making longer form YouTube videos, like that is a pretty big jump.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right? Like what made you feel confident in doing that? Was the reason you did that because Vine shut down, or did you have plans to do that anyway?
It was really hard. Like I only really started diving into YouTube because Vine ended. And I was like, well, I don't know what else to do. I don't like through Instagram, like I didn't really see any like discoverability there. Like it seemed like really hard to grow on like other platforms. But yeah, it was really hard, like the transition from Vine to YouTube, because it was like a whole other thing, and I had to like think of it differently. Like I was like, just like the thought of a thumbnail to me was like, that doesn't matter.
Right. Totally.
It was like, because I never had to worry about that on Vine.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was a big learning curve for sure, but it didn't really fit or make sense until I started trying out commentary, and then it like really started to make sense.
And did you know commentary was a genre, or did you kind of just like discover it through putting things out on YouTube?
I mean, I was aware of it because like I would watch like H3 all the time, like back in the day, like when they were doing commentary videos still, and like it really took like I think like Cody and Danny and like my Vine buddies, like once they started doing it, and I was like, oh, that's like, and they were making really funny videos, so I was like, I could maybe try that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it worked out.
Yeah.
Now there's such like a strong link between like commentary creators and comedy. It's like if you're a stand-up comedian and you have some sort of digital presence, it's either a podcast or commentary or both.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, true. I mean, I guess I know it is interesting that commentary, it is sort of synonymous with comedy now, but like there are people who make commentary videos that aren't funny.
Totally.
But like, and they're really good. But like, yeah, I guess in my brain too, when I do think of commentary, it's like some guy joking around. But yeah, I don't know.
So what were the early commentary videos for you that started to hit?
I did one about some like Instagram, like pickup artist guy. I did one that, I think the first one that really took off, it was called Pointless Twitter Threads. And it was like, and I think the way it worked out well, because like the thumbnail was pretty good. Like people would want to click on it. I think I had like 1,000 views when I went to bed, and then I woke up the next day and it was at like 400 or 600K or something. And then, yeah, I was freaking out because I was like, it was the most views I think I've ever gotten.
Like even on Vine?
Yeah, I mean, I've got more views on like loops.
On loops.
They called it.
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
Get it right.
My bad. No, dude, I had Vine. It was cool. Yeah.
Okay. I've had like Vines pop off and like go on the trending page and stuff, but it was something with YouTube was way more overwhelming with like the amount of views coming in. So it was like, I just really went for it after that and was like posting like weekly, and here I am.
During that time, are you working some sort of job? Like, where are you?
Yeah.
And what are you doing to make ends meet?
I was at a full-time office job at a company called Inkbox. They do like the semi-permanent tattoos.
Didn't we look at this for you to get? Colin's been toying around with a tattoo for 10 years.
Time to time.
Yeah. Like Inkbox was
something I'm maybe into. Yeah.
You should give them a try. They're pretty good. Yeah.
Right. So you were working like you were.
Like, what are you doing for them?
Just hanging out. No, I was head of video content over there. So anything that had to do with video, I was making like Instagram videos. I was making YouTube videos for them. I was like, their idea was like, I was like the face of the brand, I guess. So like they had someone to like people to look to I would like.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty like, they're pretty ahead of the curve.
That's pretty early to do that.
Because it was like I think they hired me in 2016, 2017. Yeah. And it was great. It was like a steady paycheck.
So are there videos on Inkbox YouTube channel of you explaining Inkbox?
Oh, yeah, probably. If you look it up. Whoa. Yeah. Like years ago.
That's wild. And did you get that job because of your presence on Vine?
Yeah. It was pretty much, I did
Interesting.
So back in like 2015, I like met the co-founders because they saw me on Vine, and they invited me to their like workplace. And then I ended up doing like a photo shoot for them. And then years went by, and I was like, I needed a new job. I was working as like a server at a restaurant in Toronto, and I just fucking hated it. And I needed like a new job. I wanted something like in that space where I could make videos like consistently. And then I saw them post about the job opening, and I went in for the interview, and I got the job. And it was great because it was like I got to really learn about video production and like what brands also like to see in videos.
Right. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So it was cool, like peek behind the curtain. I feel like I learned a lot there. And yeah, so I was full-time job there, like 5 days a week, like 9 to 6, I think was my hours. And it was like, I would just come home and like edit until like 2 a.m. and then get up. Like I hit 100,000 subscribers like at my work, and like everyone was like, it was super cool. It was like everyone was like super stoked for me.
That's cool.
And then like a month or two later, I like scheduled a meeting with my boss, and then I like we walked in. He was like, "So what? You fucking quitting to do YouTube now?" As like a half joke, and I was like, "Yeah, I am." Wow. But he was like super stoked for me. Obviously, he was like, obviously like my dream is for my employees to go off and do what they want to do. So yeah, it was great that I had that job. I think I learned a lot, but yeah, 9 to 5 is gnarly. That was a lot.
Well, also then, I mean, making videos for your day job and then making videos in the evening,
myself, yeah,
that's like mentally draining. We did a version of that where we were trying to make it on YouTube, and we did freelance video work during the day. So that was like what we were doing. Mm-hmm. And then we would try and afterwards start editing our own videos. And that was probably one of the most mentally exhausting eras.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not human. You can't do that. You can't sustain that at all.
Especially because the context switching, but then you're just still sitting and editing.
Yeah.
It's just so draining.
It's hard to like get excited about your thing because you're like, I just fucking did this for like 10 hours.
Yeah, like you're looking at the same software and like doing the same. Like, oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that will become more of a trend in the coming years, and potentially the inverse, where people have built maybe like 1 to 2 million followers across some social platform, whether it be YouTube or TikTok, and they might actually transition into going in-house at companies as being creatives at companies, because there's more stability in that.
For sure,
right? You still get to kind of express creativity. Most companies will probably want more personalities and will be more willing to have like a revolving door of personalities.
Yeah.
And not everyone is built to be in the advertising business. Because the thing is, what you don't fully realize when you're getting into the career, like at least for us, like you anticipate the career is like, okay, I'm about to monetize my self-expression, right? I'm gonna be an artist, make some stuff, and I'm gonna get paid.
Yeah.
But over time, as you build a YouTube channel, you're like, oh, I'm more like a programming executive of a TV network, where I have to be like, what programming do I put on the channel, and who do I sell that to?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like those are actually the decisions that you're making. It's not necessarily what do I want to make if you're trying to grow a true business with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes those intersect, but yeah, that is like the decision making is a little bit more akin to like a programming executive.
It becomes that. It becomes like, oh, I have to have like, I don't know, integrity and shit. Like,
what's up with that?
Yeah. What's the deal?
What's up with that expectation?
Yeah. It's like, no, it's like, there is a lot of, like, I find myself like, when I hear myself talking in meetings sometimes, whenever I say like Q4, I'm like, who am I?
What the fuck am I talking about? I remember when the Qs entered our space. You know? Like, I was like, where does this come from?
Who are these guys?
I'm still sort of revolting against it. I'm not.
Yeah.
You won't hear a Q4
I don't think
coming
so.
out of
Colin
me. I'm just saying.
No, but Colin drops.
I'll accept it. I know what it means.
Dude, Colin will drop an EOD. You know, he'll drop an EOD.
You did get me on that.
Yeah.
Look, in Slack, I'm a different person.
This guy uses Slack.
Even that is like,
no, I revolted against Slack.
Like, wait, I'm not a part of this crew.
Many years ago, Samir comes to me with Slack. We're a 2-person company.
Well, we were working with a few freelancers.
Like, I think we need to start using Slack. I was like, listen.
You can just text me.
I was like, I'm going to text you.
You sit right next to me.
I was like, I'll just like be like, hey, let's do this thing.
Yeah, just like office, I don't know, just like office politics and crap is like so weird.
So strange.
And
like,
it's just,
the GIFs that get dropped. You know?
It's just so, like, that whole world is so strange. But I mean, it's great. It is, I don't want to shit on anyone. But
one quick clarification about working and creating. When you were making Vines and kind of like blowing up on Vine, you were working at Starbucks, right?
Yeah, I was.
And you were on a pod where you were talking about getting recognized.
Yeah, dude.
That
shit sucked.
Yeah, talk to me about that, about that experience.
So yeah, I worked at Starbucks in like a really busy intersection in Toronto, Queen and Spadina. And it was like, it was right when Vine was taking off. I had like maybe 300,000 on there. And I would get like, I would be working at my Starbucks job. And then people would be like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm working. I have a job. And they're like, but you're on Vine.
Yeah.
And I had to explain explain how like money works on Vine and like in the internet, in the YouTube, in like the online content space to like a teenager who's just like, oh, I watch your videos, and now you're like behind a counter. It's like, it must have been super weird for them too, as much as it was for me. Yeah. Promise me you'll stop. I was doing this to you.
The reason I ask you about that is because there was a really interesting time. And maybe it still exists for some creators who are just starting out, but like where you can be kind of famous and pretty broke. And that maybe has always existed, but it wasn't as like available to everyone to have that happen.
Right.
And I remember Colin and I were talking about this driving through downtown LA one time. We were broke, but our videos weren't doing terrible, but like 20,000 people were watching our videos. And we're like, it's weird that to someone in that crowd, we're like,
they'd freak out.
Of us. And then we're at a stoplight and someone comes running up to the window and we roll down the window. They're like, holy shit, are you guys Colin and Samir? And we're like, can I grab a picture? And we were like, yeah, took a picture and kept driving talking about how it wasn't working. Like how we were like this career is not working.
No one knows who we are.
We're not making any money.
Was that the first time you guys were like recognized?
No.
Oh, okay.
But in this context, yes, because we've had a long career on YouTube of different context.
Right.
In the Colin and Samir context, probably one of the first times. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But it was during the time when we were really just like, we do not know how to make money doing this.
Right.
Like, this is very confusing.
Damn.
So when I was thinking about that, I was like, that must have been so strange to like make someone a drink at Starbucks and
really
have them
humbling.
be like, dude, I love your stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah. And then it felt weird. I probably every time I got recognized, I feel like I would just like I wouldn't make them pay for the drink because I felt weird like taking their money. And like I don't know. I mean I definitely gave away more drinks than I should have. I do that all the time, but like they're fine. They're Starbucks.
Now I'm thinking to myself, like, how many times was he recognized?
Yeah.
I feel like
how many free lattes is this guy giving away?
Thousands, bro. Yeah. I
and
feel
that
like
put me in debt.
Yeah. It was like it was never out of my pocket. It was out of Starbucks pocket.
Okay, good.
Fuck those guys. It was like if I worked on like a Saturday, yeah, it was game over. Because it was like
free lattes galore.
Oh yeah. Everything was on me. But no, I wasn't recognized that much. But like it was definitely an interesting experience to have for people to be like, why don't I don't? It makes sense that it doesn't make sense that you have a job because you're on Vine. But that was interesting. But
so what gave you the confidence to leave Inkbox? Was it the viewership? Was it like that you were in a flow of creating videos? Was it a certain amount of money? Like what?
Yeah.
What gave you the confidence to leave that job?
I think it was a combination of everything, and like my wife Jenna was like, if you think you can make it work, then go for it. Might as well. It was to me at that time. I was like, it's either right now or never, because I had some momentum happening on YouTube, and if I was able to put all my time into it, then I was like, then I think I'll be okay. And I quit, and then I went on like one vacation right after, and I like went really hard on YouTube when I got back, and I was editing on that vacation. It was like Country Girls of TikTok video that I put out.
Already tipsy, but that was not enough.
We've lost. We're done.
Just until recently, that was like my best performing video. So it was like
of all time.
All time. So like right when I quit, I put out
what a message to you that like
this
is probably gonna work out.
Yeah, it was like quite the sign. It was like and I wasn't expecting it at all. Like I was editing it like on vacation in like an Airbnb in like Paris. It was like it was crazy. And then that got like I don't know I think it's at like over 10 million now. But yeah, that was like. It was crazy. It took off like crazy. But
what's like the anatomy of why these videos went so viral? At least some of those early ones, or even some of the ones now that you make. Like, do you have a sense of here's the formula?
There's just like an I don't even know. I can't even describe it. There's just a feeling I get. I think where I'm like, this is, and it's not right all the time. Sometimes I'm like, this video is gonna fucking bang, and then it's like a 10 of 10, and I'm like, okay, cool. But sometimes there's just like some video topics are just like. You just have a feeling they're gonna do well. There's something about it that's just so like enticing to people, I guess. Like the one video I did about a movie called Goat Story. It was just like a weird thing. And when I was watching it, I was like, my mind blown that no one has talked about it yet, and I was so excited. But sometimes there's videos where I'm like, I hope people like this, and then it does like really, really well. Like I did a video about Disney adults. It was like a video essay format.
What's a Disney adult?
A Disney adult is a millennial adult with or without kids that can't stop talking about Disney.
And they're just like fucking super fans of Disney, and they like buy season passes. They do this thing called Disney bounding where they dress up as like characters and go to the parks.
Okay.
And they're like, it's like a chuggy millennial thing to do.
He's laughing because he's a Disney
adult. Are you a Disney adult?
He's bordering. Yeah, he's bordering. Jesse's bordering. He almost threw up back there. Yeah.
So you're familiar with them.
You're describing him right now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's pretty gnarly. People like buy property on the Disney property. It's like it's gnarly.
It's just all white walls, white floors, snow white ceilings. Like everything is just white. And I'm gonna take a guess and say that the neighborhood is as well. Let's keep going.
So I made a video about that, and I didn't think it was gonna do that well. but then again, that's like also, it's now my most viewed video. So it's like, who knows?
How do you toe the line in some of those videos of like, I don't want to sit here and just make fun of these people. I want to be like additive to the conversation.
Right.
Like, I think with commentary creators, specifically in comedy, they like really toe the line and have to think about like, am I punching down or is this something that someone in this community could watch and be like, all right, like he kind of sees us. Yeah. Even if he's like poking fun, he sees us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely tough because especially when you're like growing too, it's like like the bigger you get, like the less people there are to, I guess, like punch up at. It's like, or punch. Yeah. So it's like, cause you're like getting to that size, I guess. So it's like, and you don't want to punch. Like if I had like 100,000 or like 50,000 subs, I can make, it's like, it's different because like less people will see it in a way. But like now if I like make some fun of someone with like 10,000 subscribers, people will be like,
like,
what's up with this guy? Yeah. So it's like, that's always tough. But I think I said it in the Disney adult video, but I think one of the lines was like, I don't want to just like make fun of these people. Like I want to learn about them and then make fun of them. Okay. So it's like, it's nice to like, because then you're like, you're informed and you're like, why they behave in that way and what you can sort of poke fun at. Starting out, it's sort of like a free for all. For me, I was like, I can fucking talk about anything I want.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like the Wild West. And then now a lot more thought goes into what I'm covering and what I'm talking about.
You have like brand implications now. The Kurtis Conner brand.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's like if you do something that people are like, whoa, man, that's messed up.
Right.
It's way different now.
Yeah.
Your brand is pretty empathetic, actually. Like it has been since the beginning. Like you're someone who I think has been like pretty respectful and almost like a defender of certain groups of people at time on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried my best to like do that and like be a, someone who doesn't sort of spread like negative shit or like, like vitriol and like weird negative. I mean, I'm definitely a very negative person. I can be very, like, I could be a douchebag like sometimes in my videos. And sometimes I do, sometimes I do go a little far and people will call me out on it and it's happened. Not to anything like crazy extent, but like it does happen. Sometimes you miss the mark a little bit. But I've always tried my best to like not make people feel too shitty if they didn't deserve it. Yeah. Sometimes people do deserve to be made fun of.
Yeah. And many times when I watch your video, I'm like, I feel like I'm on your side, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad that Kurtis is on my side.
Yeah.
Is how I feel as you are poking fun at certain groups of people here and there.
Yeah, exactly. I never want someone to watch my videos and feel like, what the hell? Yeah, like it's sort of like cast out, which is which is something I've seen like on just like from comments and what people have said about my videos and like my audience, because like a lot of my like if you go to like one of my shows, like a lot of the crowd is like queer, like a lot of like female, and it's like a lot of people, and I've talked about it before, saying that like most of my audience is like female and stuff, and it's like why, and people are talking about like why that could be, and I've read comments being like, it's like so much, there's like being obviously I don't know what it's like to be a woman on the internet. I can't even fucking imagine how scary that is. But like they think like I've read comments that were like, watching one of my videos, it's like you know what to expect, really. You don't expect me to be like come out and be like,
just say something like ignorant.
Yeah, get in the kitchen or some shit like that. It's like it's like a safe place for people to come and like know that they're not going to be fucking discriminated against and stuff. That's what I go for, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the like scripting process look like, and the decision of like the green lighting process, I get quote unquote, of like this video is going to go on my channel now, or I'm going to press record on this.
Right. Well, the scripting is usually pretty easy, but the finding the topic is like I hate it so much.
Is it just you, or do you have a team?
It's just me.
Just you just looking on the internet for things to talk about. Talk to me about the difference between like reacting to something versus developing your own commentary. Is that one and the same? Are they similar?
I think they're like wildly different. I started doing commentary of just reacting and like off the cuff talking about stuff, and I hate it. I'm not good at it, but there are people who are amazing at it, like Cody, Noel. Like they fucking crush it. They know how to make a really good video like that. But like with me, and it goes back to stand-up. I think I was never a fan of improv. Like when I was trying it out, I never liked it. It was too much pressure, and it just wasn't fun. I didn't like that. I like knowing what I'm going to say in a video or on stage. So once I started scripting my videos, it opened up like a whole new like comfortability and like confidence in my video making, where I was like, I can even like within the script, obviously I can, if there's something I think of, I can, say it. It can make it into the video or not. But I can have that one piece, like the one script I can fall back on that I know is like I'm confident in. Because like, yeah, there's too much pressure. I don't think I'm that funny off the cuff. I think I do my best work when I am planning and when I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. So,
do you see yourself as like a writer more than a performer?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think it's perfectly split down the middle, I think. Because I don't think I would be okay to just write and just like let someone else have it. I would be really upset if that was my life. Because I also love talking and performing and editing and everything. Like I just love being on camera and making stuff. It's like I love the entire process. So, but I'd say probably 55% writer and then 45 is the performer, I think. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have an editor. You don't have anyone who helps you.
Nah. For my podcast, I have an editor.
Okay.
Her name is Sabrina. She's awesome. She's made my life a lot easier.
You cut all your main channel videos.
Oh yeah.
Wow. That's
hefty. I know. That's the reaction I get every time.
Yeah, that's hefty. Why?
Yeah.
Because your edits are also pretty intricate. There's like a lot of sound effects.
Yeah.
A lot of
I know. I go
just
pretty
effects in general.
I go crazy in that.
Yeah.
Thing. Final Cut is my bitch.
And sometimes you're like re-recording things that pop in here. Like you are pulling from everywhere.
And it's not hurting anybody. Or is it?
I'll just fix it in post, All right.
I've made the style of my videos like so tied to who I am. So if I let someone else do it, it would be such. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't like let someone else touch the main channel. I've toyed with like some people. I've had help sometimes if I had like a busy, if I had a busy Q4,
Of course.
I need some help.
Coming off a heavy Q3.
Listen, you can't get it done by EOD.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You gotta get someone else.
Ping me later. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm OOO.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But
I thought I was gonna have one more, but I didn't.
Yeah. You just agreed.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. If you're
get it.
Got it.
Yeah. So I think
We'll circle back.
Let's circle back on this. Looping in, that's another good one.
Looping in.
Yeah. So I think, I've had help before but I'm still in it. I'm still like putting the final touches, or I'm fucking deleting everything they've done and just doing it myself. Because I'm like, they didn't do it right.
That's a common trait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when I'm scripting, like even when I'm filming something and I pass it off to an editor, they're not going to do it exactly how it looks in my head. There's no way to convey that. And especially if I'm making a video that's a little different from just commentary, if I'm doing like something else that is sort of not in the realm, I definitely want that to be exactly how I want it. So I can't, It's probably like a pretty big trait, a big character flaw of me that I can't
I don't think it's a character flaw, actually. I think that's just like do you feel a certain amount of pressure to like scale your team or anything like that? Or no? Because I guess my concern with a lot of creators right now is that maybe they do feel that pressure just because, partially because of this show and some of the conversations we have a lot of conversations around like entrepreneurship and building, a business as a creator. But there's also a completely valid version of this career that is just, I like making the creative stuff. I don't need to build like a media empire. I just want to make the creative stuff.
The reason I don't have an editor is because I like sometimes
because that's
editing.
the thing I do.
Exactly. I like it. Yeah. I do have like, obviously, I do have some people, like I have editor that I directly hired who works like for my company. But I do have people that like in my management that do like all the lame, boring shit, like the brand deals, negotiations and everything, and like my merch guy. So it's like,
no offense to the people that really enjoy,
the boring stuff.
The lame
boring
shit.
Yeah. No offense to that. I'm sure that's a lot of fun.
A lot of viewers of this show.
Right. Yeah, they love that.
Yep.
Which is great.
Sure.
But it's not for me. Yeah. And that's fine. And that's okay. You're totally normal for liking that. I was just never, that's the ideal thing, is where I could just make the content and just post it and just do the creative stuff, because that's what's fulfilling.
How often are you making stuff right now on the main channel?
I think my goal is like 2 videos a month, like 1 video every 2 weeks. Sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's 1 video a month, which I'm fine with because I can spend more time on it. And I try to do the podcast every week because that's a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's like I don't have to edit it. I do know obviously I'd be making more money if I put out more videos.
Triple,
yeah, exactly.
Isn't that a strange moment in time? I thought about this recently. It's a strange moment in time for this crop of creators who knows that brand deals are so abundant that you're like, actually, and AdSense revenue is relatively abundant, that you're like, the only thing holding me back is just creating more.
Yeah.
But you can say with confidence that you could 3 to 4x your revenue if you just made
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Like, that's a strange...
It's crazy to think about.
We all know what we need to do that.
Right.
Which is kind of an odd moment in time, because there might be a moment where that's not the case. The advertising business isn't so abundant that making more videos doesn't equal more revenue.
Right. But then there's the flip side, too. If you're making too many videos, people are going to, like... I don't want to flood people with, like... If I'm making a video, like, every fucking... day or 2 days, it's like I feel like people get sick of me. Like it's nice to have a video that comes out and people are like excited.
Totally.
You want the funny uncle to show up every once in a while.
Yeah.
The uncle is there multiple times a day coming into the house.
Yeah, it's not a funny uncle
eating
anymore.
Your snacks.
It's like a weird one.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think scarcity is undervalued in our space. Like I think people undervalue scarcity.
100%.
But I just think it's strange that like the math equation is there. Like even if you just added one more, it's a significant amount of revenue. It's not like a small piece. It's like
it would like literally double. Yeah, which is wild to think about. But then I'd be sad. So
because you're like editing too much.
Editing too much, and
you don't like the work you're making.
Yeah, exactly.
I think editing video as a married man is like one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah,
there's no time expectation that you can commit to.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
You're like, listen, I just have to fix one thing in this video, then we can have dinner. And that's like the most miserable thing to say.
Because it's never just one thing.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, I actually got to film this other part.
Yeah.
I didn't like how I looked in that one part. Yeah. I don't like the way I said
7.5
that.
hours later, and you're like, are you still want to have dinner?
I've definitely, that's the other part where I've definitely enjoyed making less videos, because it's like work life was like a real big issue. I was just like everything was, I feel like I was just editing all the fucking time. And it just got to the point where me personally, I was like, it's not like sustainable, But it's tough. It's something that I'm never going to be good at, or like I can find ways to be better at it, but there's never going to be a version of myself where I'm like perfectly like, I'm going to edit here and then it's chill time after. Like it's so hard.
What did you feel like you were sort of sacrificing during that moment of that imbalance?
I think just like being, I think just like my own happiness and like just being like a good, just like partner also to like, my wife. I feel like it's so hard to find the balance, especially working for yourself. It was the first time I was doing it. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to stop. Working from home is like so weird because it's like I'm supposed to just have my attention here, but like I'm also like taking my dog out for walks every like couple. It's like I don't know. It's really hard to balance it. I'm still learning.
And you're looking at yourself.
Yeah,
It's very strange.
It's
I would imagine.
so weird.
Yeah.
It's
like you go from hours worth of looking at yourself on a screen to then like trying to spend time with like the real human in your life, who's your partner who also lives in the house.
Yeah. It's so.
You're like, hey, let me just step away from that screen with my face.
Yeah. It's super hard. I think I've slowly gotten better at it. I've definitely taken like I'm trying to make like a conscious effort to be more of like a fucking human being.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's really hard.
I would imagine you experience some of what we experience too, in that we cover a lot of what's happening on the internet. So you have to be somewhat plugged in to what's happening on the internet,
Absolutely.
which is exhausting, even if you're not trying to plug in.
Yeah.
Like just scraping by with what's happening.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I know, it's so hard. We were talking about this last night. I went to Dave & Buster's last night.
Sure.
With Eddie Burback and Ted Nivison and Jarvis. Not to name drop, but those are my...
you flexing?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Similar to when you said, my Airbnb in Paris.
Yeah.
It's just
vacation flex.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
I was really worried about money then, but it's okay. But really big
That is what you said. You were like,
my
it was
job.
a crazy thing. I quit my job and I just flew to Paris.
Yeah.
It was hard though.
Then I released this absolute hit from Paris. It's like, who knew?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, my life sucks. We were there talking about...
I do my best work in Paris. Look,
Sorry,
what am I supposed to say?
Yeah, I'm there all the time. Yeah, always on the move. It's crazy. We were talking about last night because there was this song that's been going viral on TikTok, and it's saying all these like slang terms like gyat and like rizzler and shit.
Nope.
I know, dude.
Yeah,
And it's
what
like
are you talking about?
It's like a weird song that's like mentioning all these like niche like TikTok slang terms.
Okay.
And it sucks because like I knew what every single thing meant, and I was like, "That's bad." I'm like 30.
So
almost. I gotta get my life
hit
together.
me with that first one. Gyat.
Gyat. I think that's like someone's ass.
Okay. All right.
And
Yeah, I'm too old. I'm too old for that. I'm too old.
Or it's like I think that's someone like if like you have I think that's someone's ass. I think Rizzler.
Can I take a guess at Rizzler?
Sure. Yeah.
Listen, man, Rizzler's the most obvious one.
Okay, well, let me take a guess.
Yeah.
All right. So a Rizzler
is
someone who has Riz, who has charisma. You're a
Yeah.
Rizzler.
Don't
Yeah,
say
there
the
you
full.
go.
Yeah, don't say the
Yeah.
full.
No, I'm just
say
trying to
who
like
has
understand
Riz.
like
Yeah.
Right. It's like a Batman villain
he's a
who's
Rizzler.
really good with women.
But I'm
Rizzler,
saying for the people who don't even know Riz, I'm going to take it back to charisma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next line was like, it was like skibbity. You know that one?
No.
Okay. It's like a skibbity toilet. It's like some weird kids.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But I've only heard that as skibidi, which maybe is
okay.
completely not correct. how I'm saying
It's
it.
like Ben Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You only hear a thing one way, and it's like, who knows? And that was the worst. Yeah.
What was your, or what is and what was your relationship to money? Because I do think that influences quite a bit your ambitions as a creator, or correct me if I'm wrong there, but like the pursuit of uploading more, creating more, like what was that connected to? Was it connected to money? Is it connected to money now? Like what are you in pursuit of with uploading?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, with money, I never really had, like, I grew up like in like, okay, like suburban neighborhood. We were never like super rich, obviously. Like I didn't go to like private school or anything like that. It was like I went to public school and shit. I mean, I got a job when I was like 14 because that's like what my parents told me to do. It was like, you got to earn your own money and stuff if you want to buy shit. Like I'm not going to buy you stuff because like we can't, right? So I was never like super well off. Like, you know, I'd fly to Paris every now and then. You know, I do my best work there. My best homework there. I would do my math sheets in Paris, in the Louvre, you know. But once I started making YouTube videos and saw like the ad revenue, like seeing a number thing in like YouTube Studio, I was like, and it was more than my like paycheck from like Inkbox. I was like, oh shit, it's like, this is like actually a thing that could work. So that was like the big moment where I was like, this is a thing that could happen if everything worked out perfectly.
What was that number?
For 1 month, I think it was like $2,500. And I was like, fuck that, let's go. That's fucking, that's huge.
A crazy magical thing that like, you didn't like talk to anyone. You didn't negotiate a deal. You just, money just shows up.
Yeah.
It's like this wild magical thing for creative people who don't want to do the boring stuff.
Right.
It's just like,
it's weird.
And it was the same thing. It was the same thing you did when you weren't making money. Like you were still making videos for the most part. Like things like something you like to do.
Shows up.
And then money just shows
now
up.
You've like figured this out a little bit more and money shows up.
It's actually a wild moment in creative time, right? That it's just like make some stuff. And then
I never had to like have like a, you're right. I never had to sign anything. I never had to like have an agent.
You don't have a, it's just like, there it is.
That was a crazy thing that like a realization there where I was like, oh, this actually is a possibility for YouTube to be my job. And then I just kept at it, and that like, I think that number, that 2,500 number, just like slowly kept like creeping up a little bit, like increasing. And I was like, and I started to feel less worried about money, but I don't know. I think just like growing up, when you don't have that much money, I feel like you're always worried about it. And no matter how much money you have, you're still going to be worried about it. So I'm still, to this day, I'm still so stressed about money, especially with Vine too, that it went away. In my brain, I'm like, well, that's going to happen with YouTube
like
also.
You have like platform trauma.
Yeah.
Because it got ripped.
Yeah.
It got taken
PTSD from Vine.
Yeah. I mean, kind of though, because you experienced it. Like I mean, I can't fathom if YouTube went away. Like I just can't even like that's be so hard for me to imagine because it feels so unlikely.
Right.
But if it did, it would be a very jarring experience. It would change the economy.
It would be way worse it'd be way worse than Vine shutting down.
Way worse. I mean, especially now, it's so developed.
Yeah. I can't imagine a world without fucking MrBeast videos. No, thank you.
You guys see Justin Timberlake in the last one?
I did.
The cameos were nuts.
Also, he came right after Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were at that house with Mark Cuban.
Whoa, really?
With Jimmy and Mark Cuban. Yeah.
There's
actually a scene where they walk by the room we were in, and it's like the curtains are like pulled shut because we were in there.
You weren't allowed to be.
I pulled up at the same time that Mark Cuban pulled up.
That's right.
Damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
That was a good video though. I like that.
I think the new formats that he's exploring, the like one versus they're fun because they're just like what you used to watch on TV of just like expensive houses or expensive things. They're just on YouTube, and it's like moving at a different pace, and you're like, okay, cool.
Right. Yeah, I would
love to see $100 million house.
I think it does depend how they're done. I was watching your Brent Rivera video.
Oh, yeah. True.
And part of that video was like a little bit of like the line between what is okay to talk about in those types of videos versus what is not.
Right.
And how to, like, if you are going to talk about money, not doing it in a way.
Right, because when Brent does it, it's like,
well,
all this cash
in those videos, it's like, look how much cash I have. Look how shitty.
Right. I think
that style of life is. And you have to be careful with like if you're going to show a $1 house.
Yeah, you're not going to like a bad, like not like a bad, like a less developed neighborhood and like shitting on people who live there.
Yeah.
It's like
doesn't that suck?
Couldn't be me.
Never. Not me. I wouldn't do that.
True. I guess when MrBeast does it, it's like, it's more, I guess it's more tasteful. It's more so of like the spectacle of it, I guess. It's more so
I think
like,
that's it. It's more on the spectacle side of it at this point. Like, and the amount of time he spends on whatever the cheap option is. The cheap options don't even look real. Like, they're barely, it's just like,
and he does spend
that's just
very
there to then
little
move
time
on to the next thing.
Yeah, he does spend very little time there. I just thought it was cool to see Justin Timberlake. I don't know why. I was just like that.
Circling back to JT.
Yeah, JT was kind of unexpected for me.
Pretty good for him. He was pretty funny in it too.
I don't know how we got here, but the question I was going to ask you was, for people like you, how did you then go about finding people to help you with the business? Because I think that is a common challenge for a lot of creators of like, I am creative. I spend all my time editing my videos. How do you trust a manager or someone to represent you, like an agent? Like what was that step that you took and how did you find that person?
Yeah. I mean, I think with everything I do, I think I try to stay with my friends and like what they have done, because my manager now is like also the manager of like Danny and Drew, and like,
got it.
And I he reached out to me to like, see if I wanted help with like management and stuff. And, I was pretty nervous about it, obviously, because, giving away any sort of your, any percentage of what you could be making is scary. Because like, especially at that time, you're like, well, I want all of that money. I need it actually. For like my house and my food. And from there, like my podcast producer is my buddy, Shun, that I've met through like YouTube and stuff. And And Shun was the one who found my editor for my podcast. And I trust him.
Let's say your podcast producer wants a raise.
Yeah.
Does he talk to you directly or does he talk to your manager?
They talked to me directly because that actually did happen pretty recently. But yeah. And
was that do you feel equipped and comfortable to have that conversation, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a first because that's like my only employee, and it's like I've been on the other side. I've been at like the other side of it being like, please give me more money.
Right.
And so I know what it's like to be doing work that you're proud of, and obviously I was down. I'm not going to be they told me what they wanted for a raise, and I was like, okay, yeah, for sure. I didn't want to be
based on my Q4 projections. yeah, like no problem.
Yeah, true. That's what I said. So it was never like, yeah, it would be weird if I was like, nah, or like, nah, let's do this instead. Like I want someone who's working for me to be excited, and like I want them to be comfortable with what they're doing and how they're compensated.
So what are the different facets of the Kurtis Conner business? If you were to sort of give us a pie chart of what does it even involve?
Take us behind the scenes of the presentation you gave shareholders.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm trying to remember what the presentation looked like because there was one. Yeah, dude, that's interesting. I don't really know because I know brands, it's different for every month because I could be doing, I feel like brand deals might be a little better than AdSense.
But they're pretty similar.
But they're pretty close. But they definitely take up like, I'm trying to think of like the pie chart, what percentage. It'd probably be like, okay, if I was not touring, if I had no shows going on, then it would be like 80 or 75% AdSense and brand deals. Maybe what's half of 75? Let's do 40-40. Be 40 AdSense.
Yeah. Okay.
40.
So 80%.
Sure.
Yeah, 80% is advertising.
Yeah. And then maybe or maybe less because I don't know. And then I've never thought of this before.
Well, it's good we're doing this exercise.
Yeah, I know. It's good to know. Yeah. And then maybe the next.
If we make a graphic for this, we'll just put a huge asterisk at the bottom.
Yeah, and then say Kurtis doesn't fucking know anything.
Might be completely inaccurate.
Make it say Kurtis is a dumbass. But and then the rest is like the podcast, Patreon, and merch, I think.
And are those like equal?
I'd say merch is the biggest out of those three.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And I think the podcast is probably the least. But I mean, the podcast is like, it's just fun.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun doing it. And I feel like the audience on there is really like, it feels more like contained, and it's like, it's fun to like, it just gets the brain working in a different way. But I'd say definitely, but if I was touring, different pie chart.
New pie chart.
If I was touring, this is completely different. 2 pies.
Yeah.
So if I'm touring, then it's like fucking most of it is touring then. And most
really?
The revenue
it's that significant?
Oh yeah.
The tour? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
I don't know why. I would assume like the cuts from like the venues are expensive. There's like sure there's a lot of people coming out, but
the touring is also, I think, with merch sales also with touring, that the merch goes up a lot, and then the money from the venue and stuff from doing the show. It's just a whole bonus thing that I would not have when I was touring. So it's just like, and then, but also at the same time, when I'm touring, I'm not doing as many videos.
Sure.
So the revenue from the
the
ad revenue goes down pretty.
But touring's that significant.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why. I guess like similar to Colin, I look at touring and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's a fun way to engage with fans.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to get back to doing the media business, which is like the opportunity is in making YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating to know that touring is significant.
I mean, I think I was I'm insanely lucky to be where I'm at with touring, where I'm able to make money.
Yeah.
Because with touring, I've done things in the past where I do a show somewhere, I'll travel to do a show and I don't make any money, right? But like starting out, touring is not very lucrative at all. But, if
how do you make money from touring? What are the, like, is it from ticket sales? Is it from...
Yeah, from ticket sales, pretty much, yeah. And
I like that for us. It's like even confusing that we're trying to figure out. We're like touring, like people come, they buy a ticket.
Yeah. So people want to stand there and
you
right?
say things to them.
And you're the one on stage, Chris?
Yeah. And you go there?
You're Kurtis in this situation.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, so it's ticket sales. There's like, there's the, merch stuff. And again, every venue's different. Some venues take way more cuts from merch. Some venues are a lot better. Better percentages from what you could make. I used to do meet and greets at shows. This was pre-COVID. And then COVID happened. And then I think now I don't know if even if COVID was like actually like fully eradicated, I don't know if I would go back to meet and greets, like paid meet and greets, because
you mean after the shows?
Yeah, before or after there'd be like a VIP like meet and greet thing. We did that on the Danny and Drew tour back in 2019. And it was like, I don't know, just like the older I get, and like at the time it was like, I don't want to sound like I don't like meeting people. I fucking love meeting my fans. It's the coolest thing ever. But it is strange to be like I think like it was like Maddie Healy from 975 said something about it. It's like, if you're gonna do paid meet and greets, you should like make them give you the actual like cash to do it, because it's like sort of like this weird transactional thing where it's like you can't actually like I look back at that I did like paid meet and greets, and
give you the cash
so that you as the artist feel the weirdness.
Taking the money from them.
Because it's weird that someone's paying for access to just be in your presence and shake your hand.
Yeah, that's what I probably could have explained that better. But
no, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it,
but it just feels. I do understand that you're like, if you're starting out and you're touring and you're like trying to just fucking break even, I totally understand like doing a paid meet and greet, because like that's sometimes the only way you can break even. But yeah, if you're like at a stage where you don't have to, it's like, it just, I don't know. Yeah. For me personally, I look back at it and I just feel bad for like that I made people spend money. But I mean, I don't know. It just feels weird to me in a way.
Maybe what you could do, you set up like a Starbucks counter and you make them coffees. And they can just pay for the coffees.
True, yeah. Okay, that's a good idea.
So then they hand you the
I think
the
if
money.
there's programming to it, you'll feel more comfortable.
It actually would be really funny if you did that.
True,
There's like a line
it's like a
to
callback
meet you,
to
and they just
Starbucks
actually like the coffee actually costs money.
But it's like Kurtis coffee, it's not Starbucks coffee.
They pay you like $3, you make them a latte, and then they get a picture and move on.
That's a good idea. I should talk to Starbucks.
Yeah.
Good idea. Yeah. And then you could cut out the part where I said I gave out thousands of free lattes, because they probably won't want to work with me again. But I could make a good latte probably.
Wow, I'm so intrigued about touring, man. Like
What's
that's
more grueling?
Crazy.
Like, is it more grueling to go on tour or to be like grinding on a ton of videos?
Tour.
No
question.
Yeah. Tour is grueling.
Yeah. But if I was not worrying about videos on tour, then I'd be chilling.
Oh, because you're doing both.
Yeah, because then I get crazy. I got fucking so anxious on the tour because I was worrying that like my YouTube shit was failing and like falling off, because like even when I was making videos, I was just fucking rushing through it, and I was like, I just need to get this out. And it was like I was filming and editing in hotel rooms and on my bus, and it was like, it was weird.
What was behind the need to get it out? A brand deal commitment, or just like, I don't want to not post?
A little bit of both, because I think I posted one without a brand deal because I just wanted to fucking get something out there. But there was a couple brand obligations that I had when I was on the road.
You guys ever think about like, I was thinking about this weekend actually. Like, I don't know that I could right now comfortably go a year without posting a YouTube video. I think it would make me feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit too wrapped up in my identity, and it has been
for 10 years.
Unfortunately.
Like, I don't even know what that would feel like. And I thought about that. And I think just, that's why I asked you that question of like, what was behind the feeling of like, I need to upload. But I
don't know if I'd ever come back when I think about it.
Yeah.
I think you get like, this is an opportunity to be a brand new human.
Yeah. You get off the wheel like that and you're probably fully off.
You can't do something else. Himself in college, sort of. Like, I think,
Yeah, to go back to it would be really funny and still do the exact same. I don't even know what the landscape would look like in 10 years too.
Right.
Yeah, I know. But touring, definitely when you're at a certain size, it can be pretty lucrative. Like if you're at like a fucking like Matt Rife level, like that guy's fucking crushing it. He's doing like 1 million fucking shows on his next tour.
We should talk about Matt Rife.
Yeah, okay.
What do you think about yeah.
He's really hot.
Listen, you brought him up. Yeah,
Yeah,
not me.
sorry, yeah.
I actually was going to bring him up. Anyway,
Okay.
The whole hot thing. Has he made the hot thing happen? He made the hot thing happen.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold on. Take a
I'm
step
sure
back.
someone calls you hot.
Let's take a step back.
First, you have to be called hot.
Right.
Dane Cook,
Yeah.
But then he's doubled down on hot.
Yeah.
Dane
it's
Cook was
interesting.
not necessarily conventionally attractive, but he was the coolest version of a stand-up from our era that he was doing stuff very differently, and he was like wearing a leather jacket on stage.
Yeah.
He was just seemed cool.
Yeah, he was really cool.
And I think that was the first time where I was like, oh, you can be funny and like
And a
look
badass.
cool and like, yeah, but Rife is taking it to a whole different.
Yeah.
He's kind of like,
Yeah.
he's in a whole different category. I'm just curious, like, what is the comedian's perspective on Matt Rife?
I mean, I don't even consider myself a fucking real comedian because it's like I'm like every time I'm in like I just did Just for Laughs festival, and even the whole time I was there, I was like I don't belong here because I was like I was in an elevator with like Mark Norman and shit, and I was like, why am I here? That's like an actual real fucking comedian, and I'm like a YouTuber. It was like,
is that the vibe in the comedy scene too? Is like
I don't. I
there's
feel
like the YouTube comedians, and then there's like the real ones who came up through.
I feel like I'm not too tapped into that where I could give like a confident answer. I'm sure there are some people who think that way and are like, these fucking YouTube guys, you know, you can't, what the hell are you doing? But like,
they're all from the South though.
Yeah.
So you don't deal with them that much.
I think as time goes on, it's like, you know, everyone has a fucking podcast that they upload on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like, as much as you can call it a podcast, you're a fucking YouTuber. Yeah. So it's like,
I mean, is Schultz a YouTuber? He's like one of the biggest YouTube podcasts.
Yeah. And he just sold out the arena in Toronto.
Crazy. That was
2 nights in a row.
I texted him. I told him like some of the images gave me chills.
Crazy. Yeah.
Like
he's fucking, he's killing. I'm a
huge fan of Schultz. Like as a comedian and as a person, like I think he's incredible.
I've never met him or talked to him. Same as Matt Rife. I've never met or talked to them, but I'm not gonna. So I can't really speak on like who they are as a person. But I mean, to me, I'm like,
on the attractiveness.
Yeah, I don't know. He could be a little hotter.
I guess what I mean is like
he's a 10.
There's this new kind of vibe of I mean, Schultz started it in my opinion with like posting crowd work.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I am unfamiliar with whoever did it prior to Schultz, or Schultz is actually the first one to kind of make that jump of crowd work is what you post on YouTube. That then gets people interested in you. They watch your special. But Rife is posting, like, if I'm on TikTok or Instagram, it's like so much Matt Rife.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, that obviously builds his brand. But I like comedy a lot. I buy tickets to go see comedy shows. I don't feel compelled to go see his show because he feels so in my face.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah, there is. I've seen a lot of.
But didn't Dane Cook also meet that same sort of? I'm not going to call it a demise, but like that point in his career where he became so popular and so available to everyone that the easiest thing for, especially the comedy community, was to be like, that's not cool.
I guess that's what I'm saying.
Reach that level of like, all right, man, like you're taking up everyone's air.
Yeah.
To be premium, to feel premium, you have to be less available. But then to put butts in seats, you have to really market yourself. And there's this weird middle ground. If you shoot that gap, it's like, there it is. That's like a premium, high-end comic. I do think Schultz does it well because he is super available. He does 2 pods a week.
Mm-hmm.
And they're hours long.
Right.
Like 2 to 3 hours long. And then he feels very premium right now as a comic.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know how you nail that, but that is...
I mean, it's different. You know, it's so weird because I know Trevor Wallace does a lot of, he's been posting a lot of crowd stuff too. And he's fucking super funny, crushing it. There's a lot of dudes who are doing it like well. I'm interesting. Like, it's interesting to think about though, because I feel like this era of like posting crowd work is like, sort of like misinforming how you should behave at a comedy show.
Oh, interesting.
Because I feel like if people keep posting them, everyone who watches them is like, oh, I could just yell whatever I want. And the guy's going to say something hilarious.
And maybe I'll end up on TikTok.
Yeah, maybe I'll be in one of the TikToks. So it's like, and that's like, I don't, especially for me, it's different for every comic. Like some people invite it. Some people like do a whole fucking hour of crowd work. But like me, it's like, I write a show, like I know it's written. I want to say what I want to say, and I don't want anyone else to say anything. I would like you to laugh, and then or not, or don't. You know.
There's no in between.
In the perfect world, that's all that would happen. Like, obviously, hecklers, it happens, especially if you're like boozing. Like,
does it happen with you? Like hecklers happen?
I get really, it does happen.
Because I feel like YouTubers have a leg up where it's like people are fans of yours coming into it.
That's the thing. Yeah, the heckling that did happen, it's not really heckling. It's more of like just like the thing that'll happen to be like someone will like interrupt and be like, "I love you," or like, "Yeah," or just like trying to respond and just like, because it's like, I get it. Because like it's for me, a lot of the people who do come to my comedy shows are like, it's their first one. So maybe they're not well versed in how to behave at a show, which is like, I'm not going to fucking like, you know, I'll yell at them, obviously. I'll get it. But I'm not going to be like, you know, but like it happens. So it's like, if the worst I'm getting is people being like, "I love you," then it's like, I can't really fucking complain.
That was kind of a heckler flex too.
Yeah. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, just people all the time are just like, "I love you."
Yeah,
and like, you're so well dressed.
You're the best.
I know. Again, my life fucking sucks. But it's but again, it's a learning thing, and I've it's been like a conscious decision to not post any of my stand-up until my special comes out, because I want the first thing that people are going to see of my stand-up, I want it to be something that I'm really proud of and represents of what I've been working on for the past fucking 10 years. So when I do put the special out on November 10th, it will
buy now at kurtisconner.com.
Buy it right now.
Wait, is that where you can? The special's out.
How are you rolling this out?
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Okay.
And this is your first special?
My very first comedy special. Yeah, it's called Keep Busy. It comes out on November 10th. I'm releasing it independently. I funded the thing myself.
Okay.
I self-funded everything. We hired the production team just for laughs, actually produced it, which is pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we had a really good director, and it was crazy. It was really interesting because I'm used to setting up one camera in my office, in my house, and then just doing that, and it's free.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to. There's no one else there.
Yeah.
But yeah, renting out a venue and then hiring like a whole production crew, set design and lighting and everything, and there was like 7 cameras, and it was like
sounds expensive.
Yeah. It was definitely the most expensive production I've ever been a part of, but I wanted my first special to be something that was like impressive, something that looks really professional and something that is like pleasing to the eyes and ears and stuff, and like something that's enjoyable to watch. So yeah, I'm hoping to just, if I break even, that's awesome. If not, fuck. Sucks to suck, I guess, but
if not, you'll figure it out in Paris.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go to Paris, drop another banger.
Yeah. Why do it independently? Was there a conversation around, did you approach streamers? Was that not even a thought?
Obviously, it's nice to have, to not put up any capital to just have the burden to lay on some like company. But I mean, it is sort of, in a way, it's like it's the most like YouTuber thing to do, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Is to just like, fuck, I'll just do it myself, right? And it's like, if you do it with say if I were to do it with some streaming service, like they would own it, like it would be theirs, and it would just live there. But like if I own it now, it's my special, and it's like my product that I have now. I can go out and like let people have it if they want, but at the end of the day, it's like it's mine. So, which is nice to have. That
is really cool.
It's like a super cool position to be in. So,
did you film it across multiple nights, or was it one night, one and done?
We did it. I filmed it in Toronto at the Danforth Music Hall. I think it was like 900 people. It's usually like 1,100 capacity, but we had to like get rid of a bunch of seats for the cameras and stuff. But it was one night film, and I did 2 shows in the night. So yeah, the first show, that was a nightmare. I was like so nervous. Yeah, it was because we had like, I
guess you got to nail it. Like you've invested all this money into it.
That's what it was.
You just have to nail it.
Yeah, I was so nervous. I had like, because like just the production of all day, like setting up, doing like tests, like camera tests and audio tests and like hair and makeup and shit. It was like a whole production. And so I walked out on stage and I was like, this huge camera on like this fucking like arm, like satellite looking arm. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
It was so intimidating. So that first show was like not very good. It was okay, but I just like felt a little off. And there was also a heckler at that show who was like yelling stuff, and like that was probably the most like stressed I've ever been in my life. And I was like, not now.
That is stressful. Yelling like negative stuff, or
no, it was just like stuff. It was just like
it's like you're doing great. Yeah, you're like, come on, not now.
Or it was so good for the special.
Yeah, it was something that was like responding to something that I said or something, and it was just like I was so stressed that I couldn't even say anything funny in response. I was just like, no, please don't do that right now. I'm so fucking stressed. So it was like really nerve-wracking. But the second show, I was like a little more loose because I already did it. I was like 3 glasses of wine deep by that point. So I was like, whatever. I'm just going to go and have fun the second one. And the second show, the later show, that's the bulk of the special is the late show. There's some parts that we picked from the first kind of to like a very small percentage was from but it was mostly one show. But
whenever I watch a comedy special, I always try and pick out like in any of the cuts, if anything just changed, like hair, like any little thing, like was the collar kind of up or down. And that's just my like neurotic editor brain looking at it being like, ooh, did they splice that? And it does happen a lot where it's like pretty spliced together.
Yeah.
It's super interesting to watch that.
Yeah. That was like the best part too, was like having that, like, because obviously I wasn't going to edit the special. I don't know how to do that. And it was like, so it was nice to give that part up for once, to like let someone else do it, and like someone who's like a professional editor. And so that was really cool seeing the edit come together, and like the sound mixing and everything and the color grading. It was like a whole production thing that I'm like just not familiar with. So it was
pretty
really
avant-garde if you did edit the special.
Yeah.
Like the sound effects and the crash zoom.
Yeah. The digital zooms and shit. Yeah, like a bruh sound effect or something.
In the special, do you reference like the career of being a YouTube creator? I know when we spoke with Max Fosh, he had a special.
Yep.
And if you watch it, there's a lot of interplay with like some of the videos he put out, some of the reactions to it.
Right.
Is that what we could expect of yours, or does it feel pretty separate?
I kept it very separate. Yeah. I don't really think I mentioned YouTube at all in it, or anything like that. I haven't got around to watching Max's.
You should watch it. It's really interesting.
He started doing stand-up after the like videos, right? Like he went the other. Okay, cool. Damn. Yeah. I gotta watch that.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's interesting. I'm like very fascinated by the crop of YouTube creators who are doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, Hank Green is even
Hank Green's doing stand-up
about his cancer and stuff too.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah,
Hank's
me too.
so funny.
He's awesome.
He's so good.
He's the best. But yeah, that was special is no mention of YouTube really. I try to keep it pretty separate from that part. I think if you're a fan of my YouTube videos, it's the same person who wrote them. So it's just like, it's the same. It does feel kind of.
I guess the subject matter is different in that you don't have source material necessarily to build on, right? Because a commentary video is like, let me build on this source material.
Right.
A joke is let me set up source.
Let me show you, let me provide you the source material right now.
Right now.
And then talk about it. Yeah. So it's definitely really different. But I feel like it definitely does, with the pacing and the jokes and the type of jokes, is very similar to a typical one, like commentary video of mine. But I like to keep them separate too, because they're not the same to me.
What makes a funny stand-up joke? Like, what is the anatomy of that versus like a funny bit in a YouTube video?
I think I think with YouTube there's a lot more freedom and things to sort of improve, but like fluff up a joke, you know. You can like do a silly edit or a sound effect or something, right? And you can make it look a certain way, but like I think with stand-up, like it needs to be like a smart, like a funny joke, you know? It needs to be like you can't just say something that's kind of funny and then hope a sound effect happens, right?
Yeah, there's a lot more of like winks to the camera in YouTube videos with a sound effect or a crash zoom, where like the expectation, I think, is not that I am like bursting out laughing on the other end.
Right,
Where it's like the expectation at a comedy show is like, if you're going to hit me with a joke, I might need some time to like actually laugh.
Right,
and then get back to you.
You got to get giggling.
I got to get giggling.
Yeah. as long as your material is strong and like you're also having fun up there and you're like, you can tell that they're being genuine. You know, and if you're hot like Matt Rife too, that helps out a lot too.
Then no one's even listening.
I was wondering, I was like, where's hot? I'm not tracking.
Yeah, you haven't said that.
Because I don't.
There's like a pie chart.
Not
It's mostly hot.
Do you remember like a stand-up joke of yours that just fully bombed that you had a lot of confidence in? Or the first one you hit that like people were like, oh man, that was funny.
I do. Okay. I do. All right. I know one that was really bad that didn't work.
Okay.
I had one bit about, this was like around like right before, it's like 2019. I was like writing the new hour before COVID. So it was like a new material thing that I was doing in New York. And I had a bit about dudes who wear sweaters with nothing underneath them. And I thought like how weird that is.
Yeah.
Because there was a kid that I like went to school with who would only just wore fucking pullover sweaters.
Yeah.
And I was like, it would piss me off.
Yeah,
I was like,
understood.
what? That's stupid.
I'm with that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I was like, and then I was really like passionate about it. I was really angry about the subject matter. And then like nobody was on my side. And then I like halfway through I was like, does anyone agree with me? And then a bunch of people were like, no, I do that shit all the time. And I was like, yeah, you guys are fucking weird then.
That's so good.
So that was one bit that didn't really land. But maybe that's just the wrong crowd. Because I mean,
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, you guys agree.
He does it.
No,
so.
I mean, it worked for Samir, but
Do you do it?
I don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, you
and
do it.
No, I don't do it. I hate the feeling.
You've
actually.
done it.
It's no, I've never done it. It's very scratchy. I don't like.
Take your
it.
shirt off.
I feel.
No, he's got nothing.
No,
Okay, good.
Please.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
No. Yeah, if I don't wear a shirt under a sweater, I feel naked. Like,
Yeah,
He
exactly.
sews a shirt on this front part to show you in case anyone checks him. He's like, no, seriously.
No, it's there.
I got a little fabric check.
it
Yeah,
out.
it's all good.
But clearly, had I been sitting in that audience, I wouldn't have burst.
Right.
Samir would have been great.
Yeah, you would have been
absolutely
fine.
fine.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was one that just like, you know, sometimes it can be just a funny thing to talk about with your friends, but it's not like a stand-up bit, which is fine. That's totally okay. That's like, you can never know that until you try it on stage.
How do you get everyone laughing though? Like, how do you know when you're writing your special, you're like, oh, this stuff's gonna go.
Right. I mean, like, how would you?
Like, how do you write?
I would
a
assume
stand-up
just from
joke?
enough
Right,
failure, right?
yeah.
Like you've tested it.
Yeah,
You
I
don't do
think
an
you-
hour out of nowhere. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
okay. You go out and you do that hour.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Wild
Yeah,
experiment.
that would be
Yeah, just like
First
these
time.
are all fresh.
Yeah.
If I
jokes.
booked a tour with
not tested,
no
against
tested
any
material,
audience, and we're making it the special.
Right. Yeah. So it's been like, yeah, you go test out. You do those shows where you're like, God, I hope this works. And then sometimes it works, and sometimes a bit. And it's tough to find because there is a way for like, if a bit doesn't work, you can like, okay, maybe there's a new way to go about it and like rewrite it so it does work. But sometimes you have to like just learn to like let it go and be like, okay, this isn't really a bit. Maybe I can use it later in like a video or something, or like a fucking tweet or some shit. But like, yeah, for the most part, you do have to go. And like, there's no way to tell if a joke works unless you're just going and trying it in front of people. So
You have any other like premises like that one about dudes who just wear pullover sweaters that are kind of bothering you right now? Like any like gripes just from the world? in
yeah,
general?
something that's grinding my gears.
Yeah.
Of like what people wear or just in general?
Just
Okay. Yeah.
general things that.
Could be
know.
YouTube related gripes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything like.
I feel like you're pretty in tune with the YouTube space. If you watch your videos, it's like, oh, there's a Prime reference there.
Yeah.
There's a MrBeast reference here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there is one the one thing I do hate a lot. I mean, it's not really that crazy. It's not like a crazy take, but like when people copy thumbnails a lot, like blatantly, is really annoying, or just like video concepts, it pisses me off a lot. Because I saw like a thing last night. I'm not going to put anyone on blast, but I saw one last night. I was like,
Matt Rife.
yeah.
Matt Rife just released a Disney Adults video.
Yeah. Okay, I'd actually, that would piss me off, actually. A hotter guy is talking about it.
What about the overall just like health of YouTube right now? It doesn't have to be a gripe, but as someone who's like been on YouTube for many years, how do you feel about the health of like creators right now in the platform?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm in such a weird spot. Also kind of like a privileged spot too. But like, I just did like I I just spoke at like this like tech festival thing in Toronto, and there was like, it was cool that they invited me, and it was like they had like this like creator show that was going on. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll try it out. And the whole thing was like about like how to hack the algorithm and shit, and like how would you, you know, what's the best way to like start making money on there? And I was like, it just felt weird.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's like this big push, especially. And don't get me wrong, making money doing YouTube videos is fucking awesome. It's like the dream job for a creative person. But like, I feel like there is this weird, like slimy fucking like snake oil salesman character that is pretty prevalent now with YouTube and TikTok and sort of like making your own business, I guess.
I think the acceleration of it now reeks of get rich quick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you know what? It's easy if you just do it like this. And I think for people like us who started with the journey of being like, oh, this is a cool place to express myself. It feels really funny to hear.
People here don't care what they're making.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
yeah.
It feels really funny to hear people talk about YouTube videos as commodities.
Right.
That are like units of commerce.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so weird, which is why like I enjoy watching your guys' videos, because it's like you guys, you have the same mindset of me where it's like you guys are like really knowledgeable with how to, like when you talk about like the algorithm and like making content a business, but it's never like, it's never weird. It's never like I never feel weird or gross watching the stuff because you guys,
man.
of
Yeah,
course,
that's good.
That's
It
I
actually
remember when I found out that you watched our videos and thinking to myself, oh, that's a good indicator that I'm making what I hope we're making, because I like what you make, and I've also seen how you talk about the YouTube space.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, if Kurtis Conner thinks like we're all right.
I remember that day.
I
think you were wearing our hat. You like sent us a DM and you had our hat on.
Yeah, I bought
and we were like,
about the hat.
oh, shit.
I remember thinking
really
like,
cool.
Like, really? Like Kurtis Conner watched our stuff?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, because I mean like, because I feel like there's just like it's been flooded with people who are like talking about what you guys talk about, but in like the worst way. So it's like,
I think what's hard for me is I don't want to get lumped into that.
Exactly.
Which we do, obviously, naturally, of like being like a YouTube guru. Like that is not my intention at all for this show. It's like more to actually, there's a selfish component of the show of just like talking to the people that we watch.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
Like,
sure. Yeah.
We get to just sit with you for like 2 hours and be like,
and just like shoot the shit for a bit. Yeah.
And then the other aspect of it is like, it's the show that we wish we had when we were first starting out, to just hear what it's like to do this, because we wanted it. It was the most aspirational career for us. Yeah. So it's like, so what can we learn? What's it actually like to do this?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a spectrum of like of this like type of content where like it's like you guys on one side and the other side is like, this is how you make 500 TikToks a day.
Yeah, totally.
To hack the fucking algorithm. And it's like, it's not, that can't be fun. But
that's where I think like we're naturally approaching this moment where it's like, how far can this go? How far can we go making like subpar content as a community? Paris. We can fly to Paris. Yeah. Do you also have a pretty substantial TikTok presence?
Yeah.
How do you
surprisingly so? Yeah.
Making TikToks?
It's pretty fun. I was very like anti-TikTok when I started out, because I was making a lot of like anti-TikTok videos, being like the country TikToks, the friggin' like cringy TikTok commentary era, I guess. So I was pretty against it because I was just seeing like weird shit. But I guess like the more popular it got, like there's some of the funniest fucking videos I've ever seen have been on TikTok. Like some people are just like so funny, and like it's just like opened up so much like creativity and like if TikTok existed when and was as big as like when Vine was around, like with all like the music integration and like all the effects and everything, it's like it's crazy to think of like where it would be now, you know, it's like, it's pretty wild. So I just have fun like messing around on there and just like, if I, have an idea, I'll make it. I'll just like make fun of something that I see.
That's the interesting part about TikTok, is the additive nature of it. Because whether it's a sound and people do their own version of the sound, or like, my favorite version of TikTok is when someone plays music and they're like, sing over this. And then you just go to that sound and you look at all the duets and it's like a ton of people singing lyrics over that. And you're like, that's so interesting.
That's like so many talented musicians just like putting out all that shit. It's crazy. TikTok has been like, and it's like I met a lot of cool people through it too. And there's like a lot of super funny, great content on it.
What's your relationship with fame? Because one thing I think about is like on your Instagram, you have a photo of your wedding, of you and your wife.
Yeah.
And it has 500,000 likes and just like thousands of comments.
Yeah.
And I think about the
like kind of gives me shivers.
Yeah, like
thinking about it.
The relationship to like this, the byproduct of being creative on the internet is fame, right?
Yeah.
And I think in the way that you have it, I'm curious your perspective on it because people are very personally interested in you. Obviously, Colin mentioned like the Pinterest boards of you, but there's a lot of personal interest in you.
I've heard.
He's just heard about it.
Board with your outfits on.
Yeah, I've never used it. Yeah. What even is that?
Sounds cool.
I mean, it's weird. I know. It's the whole. It's so weird to like take a step back, and because like when I'll be out with like some friends or like family, and then I'll get recognized. It's always like they're just so like confused by it. Obviously, because it's not like a normal human interaction.
Sure.
Yeah.
So when I do it, and it's like I'm just used to it now, I guess, which is a weird thing. But it's like I don't know. It's very strange. Sometimes when I'm like, even if I'm out in public, I'm like, I know I'm not that fucking famous. I'm not like Justin Timberlake level. But it's like even then when I'm out in public, I'm like hyper aware of what I'm doing, what I look like. You know, what I'm wearing, what I'm like, or what I'm carrying, like what I'm doing. It's like, it's because I don't want, like, I was at the dollar store recently and I was in like my fucking sweatpants and like a shirt that said, I think it said, I got it from like a vintage store and it said, it was a guy, like it was like a washroom sign of a guy, and he didn't have a head, and it said "need head."
Yeah.
And then I got recognized outside of the dollar store, and I had like poo bags for my dog, and I was holding like a fucking like I had also a Gatorade too because I think I was like a little hungover.
So good.
And then and poo bags. So it was like, and then someone was like, "Oh my God, are you Kurtis?" And I was like, "Oh, not now." But they were super nice, and I was talking to them. But this story gets worse because we were outside of the dollar store, and I was talking to them, and they were just like, "So like, you live in Toronto? That's crazy." And I was like, "Yeah, it's whatever." And I was talking, and I was like swinging my arms back and forth. You know, just like my one arm holding the Gatorade, I was swinging it back and forth.
That's your swinging arm.
That's my swinging arm, and I was swinging it back and forth. And while I was talking to a fan, I hit a kid in the head with my Gatorade. Like he walked into my swinging Gatorade hand, and it was like dunk. I bonked a fucking child when I was talking to a fan, and I'd be like, "Oh my God," and I had to be like, "Sorry, you saw that." So yeah, I love meeting fans. It's really, it's great. It's always like that.
You should start doing VIP meet and greets so you can kind of control that.
I guess so. Yeah, no kids running around. I can't smack them in the head with a blue Gatorade.
That's so good, man.
So it's like stuff like that. And I'm also like, I'm so nervous when I meet fans too because I want them to have like a good experience.
Totally. Yes.
And I'm not like very good at like talking to like new people. I don't think I'm like, especially fans. I just don't want them to think ill of me in any way. So I'm just like, I don't know what I can. Even usually I'm the one asking for a picture because like I want them to get whatever they want out of it. So I'm like,
I've done that many a time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also very bad at new interactions for the first time. And, my fiance has witnessed way too many of these and has finally started to like step in and be like, ask them if they're a creator too. Like, you're a creator too?
Getting fed lines. Yeah.
He's got an earpiece in.
It's really bad.
Yeah. So now, would you like a photo together?
Right. Would you like one photo with me?
I asked for, you guys say, you want a photo?
Yeah.
Multiple times people have been like, no.
That's the worst too.
That's the worst.
Yeah, when they say no. Yeah.
Or you feel like you made them take a photo?
I guess.
Or they just get next to you like, you can take it on your camera. Sure.
Yeah. Do you want it?
Did you want one? I think the funniest or the most interesting thing now that we've been talking about is I don't know why this happens to us. Maybe it happens to you too, but I get DMs after I've left a place where someone's like, hey, were you just at, the sushi restaurant? Because I think I was sitting next to you. And like, that to me is worse because then I'm like, oh my God, what was I talking about? What was I doing? Like, what was
did I piss my pants or something? What did I do?
But it starts to get in your head because you're like, I don't want to now live in a, like, am I living in a world now where my assumption of anonymity is now incorrect? Like if I walk into a coffee shop, is my assumption that I'm anonymous in that coffee shop wrong? And then if you live in that world where your assumption's the opposite, that's a weird world to live in. It almost feels like who
like
am
a weird
I?
thing.
No, I'm famous everywhere. So
that's a weird thing.
But I won't be paying.
So I only wear my nice sweatpants.
But the scale of like your audience of 2 to 3 million people kind of not missing a video, that to me is crazy. And then again, like 500,000 people being interested in your personal life on
I mean, to that,
it's a lot of people.
Even that, it's like when you get to that point, I don't even think people see it as my personal life. I don't think they think I'm a real guy.
Right.
At some point, I think people think I'm like a character, which is
also true. It's also true.
I know. I'm not saying that they're wrong. It's like because even me, like even to like people I watch and stuff, it's like I met I met Post Malone, and it was like, oh, he's like a real guy. He's like a real fucking person that exists. It's like, and it's like that. Yeah, it's just so strange to be like, and then some people like when people come up and it's like, they'll say like, I love your dog Kiwi. Tell Kiwi I say hi, and it's like, oh yeah, people know like, I can't even explain that to my dog either. I can't be like, people know you.
That's the thing, you can't say hi.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know what that means. So that's the most heartbreaking part.
Right. That's the hardest part about being a creator.
I can't tell my dog that he's loved by many.
But do you crave more fame? Is there a level that you're trying to get to because that would give you access to something, or is there?
Not really. I just want people to watch my videos and then like what I'm doing, and then if they see me in public, and I just want people to like the stuff that I'm making, and if you like it enough, then to come to my shows, and then like there's never like, obviously like hitting like milestones is cool, but it's never like, once I'm there, then it's fine,
Is there a milestone you want to hit right now?
I mean, I'm trying like 5 million on YouTube is the next big thing. So that's what I'm like looking forward to. And I hope it happens. That'd be cool. But
what do you think the recipe is to get there? If you could hack the algorithm.
If I can hack it?
Yeah, if you could hack it.
I'm just going to get hotter.
Yeah, that's actually true. If you started lifting.
Yeah. I just think I'm going to, it's been working the last 4 or 5 years of like doing commentary full time. So I'm just going to keep making videos that I want to make and videos that I'm proud of. And eventually I'm not trying to get there by like a certain
that
day.
You do is the extra greeting.
Yeah, I don't do it anymore.
You don't do it?
No, I cut it off.
Why'd you cut it off? First of all, can you explain it to people who are unfamiliar with it? Yeah. And then can you explain the context of cutting it off?
When I started doing YouTube videos, I had this bit called the extra greeting at the beginning of my videos, where it would be like, I would say, hello, everyone, who's watching, but like to everyone who's subscribed, hello, what's up? How's it going? That was just for them.
If you're new here, what's up? How's it going? And if you're coming back, what's up? How's it going? It's very good to see you again. See what happens when you subscribe to my channel? You get an extra greeting at the beginning of every single video.
So like that one didn't apply to the fuckers who didn't subscribe to me. The bastards, the weirdos. Yeah. So it was like, that was the bit to be like, if you subscribe, you get that extra little
I thought
hello.
That was such a comfortable, soft way to ask people to subscribe. But like, because that's a really uncomfortable thing to do.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys? Like, make sure you subscribe. Like, it feels almost like a meme to say that.
Mm-hmm.
So that, like, to deliver it in that way, I was just like, because it does work. Yeah. If you ask people to subscribe, it does work.
It works.
And so finding the way in your own tone and voice to do it is actually pretty important.
Mind if we took that, or would you recommend
it? If you're
I'm not using it anymore, so I could pass it off, sort of pass the torch to y'all, So but I stopped doing it because it was I just felt long to me, and it felt like so long to get into the actual topic of the video. So I wanted to just fucking cut it out and be like, just get right into the thing.
When you have enough subscribers.
Yeah, and it's like, my thought was like, if people like it, then they can just subscribe. And at the end of the video, I have like the Kurtis town bit where that's like the fictional town that everybody lives in when they subscribe to me. So it's like if you subscribe, you automatically become a citizen.
If you didn't know, Kurtis town is the best place to live in the world, and I'm the mayor, so you have to be nice to me. It's the law.
That's like the bit that I have now at the end, which is like a fun little thing for people to, but because it does feel weird to just be like, please.
It's super weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It's really strange. But it is like, it's just part of the thing, and finding that is actually part. So when you say you wanted to get quicker into the subject matter, was that like, how connected are you to YouTube Studio, to analytics? Like, are you looking at retention data, or are you making a gut storytelling decision of like, you know what, this works better if I go hook and I'm right in?
Yeah, I think it came from just like talking to fellow YouTubers and just being like, and same as like watching other YouTubers too, when they get right into it, it's like, all right, cool, here we go. It's what the video's about, it's what the thumbnail was, it's like, I'm here, I'm ready for the content. So it was definitely a conscious thing to be like, I just want the video that I'm putting out to be just like, the best that it can be, I think. So that was a way in doing that. But there is sometimes where it does suck, where it's like, sometimes like the algorithm and stuff does sort of like dictate what I'm doing, but it's a game you got to play, I guess.
It's just the game,
right?
It's just what it is.
But I think the trick is like finding like the fun, like within it, like within the game that you have to play too, which is like the cool part about the thumbnail dude I've been working with too. It's like he has ideas that we like bounce off each other, and like that's like a whole new fucking thing for me, which is like having someone else.
Dude, the thumbnail guy, like cottage industry of our space is pretty incredible.
It's crazy.
That's an entire economy now of thumbnail guys who are just, I don't even understand what they're doing. Like meaning when it comes back, like when we send something out, or I see sometimes they post the before and after where it's some like chicken scratch from the creator. They like took a picture in shit light.
Yeah.
And then they just send it to them and they're like, just make me like actually hanging off a cliff and there's like fire below that. And it's like from the perspective of, and they just like chicken scratch it and then they just flip it around and you're like, how did you do that?
I think it's amazing because from my understanding, it's not AI. And maybe that's why it's amazing. Is like,
yeah, right. Yeah. It's pretty impressive what they can do these days. Pretty crazy.
So on that with YouTube though, like one of your most recent videos is 40 minutes long. Like you're pushing length right now. When I think of a commentary video, it's like 8 to 11 minutes. I don't know why that's like
interesting.
What I think of, but that is what I think of.
Well, to me, it's interesting they say 8 to 11 because when I think of a commentary video, I'm thinking like I want at least like 20 minutes.
20.
Yeah, I think that's like the ideal like length that I'm shooting for. But I think there's definitely a trend within the commentary people of like kind of stepping, like keeping the commentary like feel, but sort of like just like dipping toes in like other forms. Like I know Danny, he's doing a lot of different stuff now.
Yeah.
Same as Drew, Eddie, and Ted. They're doing like their whole like Margaritaville video they did and stuff. It was like I feel like there's a big trend of like not just like watching a video being like that's fucked.
Yeah.
All right. See you later. So it's like there's like
I feel like Cody and Noel did it with the kombucha guy.
Yeah.
Right? And that was one of the first times where it almost felt like I was seeing two guys who existed on a TV set like go on a new like when you watch like a show like The Office and like the first time they like leave the office and go to like the mall, you're like the Steamtown Mall, you're like, what are you guys doing outside of the set?
You can't
That's how I felt with Cody and Noel when they went to what was his name? GT Dave.
GT Dave.
Yeah, they went to his like kombucha gray lair.
Yeah.
And it was like these guys are leaving their set and going to
because then that's cool for the audience too, because then they feel like they're like going with them on that journey too, from like the other video.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's definitely because that video, the vision healing video I did was also it still had commentary like the usual stuff, but like the last half of it was like it was just me
experience
just doing it and like doing like a voiceover and stuff. So it was really fun, like creatively, and like it was something different and people seemed to really like it. So there's definitely, and there was another video I did recently. It was like this TikTok musician that I just like went and interviewed and like spent a couple days with. And it was just like it was kind of like just like a documentary about him. His name is James Chapeski. He's the fucking coolest dude I've ever met in my life. And he was just like, we did a song together to like finish the video. And it was just something so different, and I spent so long on it, and I was so nervous with it, like about putting it out because I didn't know if people were gonna watch it. But like that was like one of the best like feedback I've ever gotten on like any video, and it was something that's something I've never done. So it was cool. That was like a really cool moment. But yeah,
brought up Danny Gonzalez and Drew Gooden a lot. I know they're like good friends of yours. You collaborate with them a lot.
Yeah.
When I think of commentary, I think of all three of you guys. When you're talking with them.
Yeah.
Do you guys have thoughts on where sort of the characters in this genre go next? Is it just for the next 20 years we'll still be making commentary videos? Or is it, you know, I'm pushing more into stand-up. I'm interested in going into TV. Like I watch a Drew Gooden video and I'm like, it reminds me of Joel McHale, The Soup.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
It reminds me of just a lot of what I see on TV that's really good. And I wonder, like, does Drew Gooden go into TV more so? Like, where does the commentary genre graduate to, and do you guys talk about that?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I don't think there's really. I mean, I've talked to them both about this, and it's like YouTube is like. It's like it is like the most ideal job for like someone. Like I don't think I would get the satisfaction or fulfillment that I get from like if I were to go on like a series or like if I started writing for a TV show or something or like starring in a TV show. It's like because then there's like producers and stuff that like you have to like YouTube is so what I want, and that's like the dream for a creative person. There's like no like there's to an extent there's like really no limits to what you can like make, right? You can't put a video like shitting on a table or something. But like,
we don't think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no one's tried.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, no one's had the balls to actually fucking go through with it. But like, I think there's obviously other like avenues we want to explore. Like I'm doing stand up and stuff, and you know, but like YouTube sort of is like I can definitely see myself making videos like for the rest of my like, you know, working life. You know, obviously my content will evolve. I hope. I hope I'm not like 65 doing the same TikTok cringe videos.
With Disney adults?
Yeah. So that's like, but I think like there is like a big pressure, I think, for creators to be like, okay, now what? But it's like, there's you shouldn't have to think that way, right? You should be able to like, YouTube can be the end goal. I think that's totally fine. But again, I think it's like in the creative like mindset to like want to do other stuff also, you know? So it's tough to like completely abandon one thing to go do the other. Like if I was just doing stand up, I'd feel weird, I think, you know?
I think part of the reason I ask is because I do enjoy seeing creators cross over to traditional media, and I enjoy seeing it when they find success.
Yes.
And I always want the people that I watch on YouTube to like try it and have the rest of the world see it. I have like this like immense pride for some of the people that are succeeding here.
For sure,
on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think it's also like late night holds a special place in my heart, just as a, I don't know, like a millennial kid growing up. Like, and I just think that this group of commentary creators could do that format really well.
Yeah.
You know, like Weekend Update, even like from SNL or Seth Meyers, like Colbert. Like there's something about the delivery straight to camera about current topics.
Yeah.
That I think if you start to tackle like current topics, it becomes really interesting. And you're covering like internet topics. But I think there's something interesting there.
Yeah.
Like the late night style.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting when I think about late night because it's, even those guys are like fucking YouTubers now. It's like,
they are
clips,
YouTubers
by default, sort of.
Yeah, their clips are like, they're getting so many views.
No one knows
on YouTube.
what time those shows are on now.
Right.
Or what networks. Like I used to know so well of like, oh, that's on ABC or that's on, you know, like NBC.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, if it comes across my YouTube feed, I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which
and
is
I feel
pretty
like
incredible.
So many of those late night shows are just like slowly like going away, I feel like. So yeah, it's interesting to see like if that actually does.
Do those formats converge
in
the next 10 years?
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Maybe. And maybe it already has happened.
Right. Because I feel like like all my friends on YouTube, they're like, I feel like I'm like their biggest fans. You know, they're also like the homies, but like I've like whenever like Danny or Drew, Jarvis, like any of my friends, like whenever they upload videos, I'm like, fuck, let's go, dude. I'm like watching every single one. So it's like I know whatever like they do, they're gonna like excel at and be really good. So like whatever, I'm supporting my friends whatever they want to do. You know, even if they never make any content again, you know, that's fine. More for me, man.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Like your story feels like it is a story of like gradual, long, sustained success. But that is juxtaposed, or in my mind, contrasts with the desire to be a comic, which is rooted in some level of darkness and some level of like. So my question to you is like, throughout this entire process, like, is there any darkness? Were there any dark times? Or like, am I right in thinking that, or is that just not the case?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get pretty sad sometimes.
All right, man, take it easy. I wasn't
okay,
just
sorry.
This is a fun podcast, dude. Yeah,
I don't know what the setup was.
Yeah, whoa, dude.
Easy. Like, kill the vibe. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty all the time. I think every day I'm stressed about everything. All the time. So yeah.
Is that what you wanted, dude?
Is that what you want from me?
Yeah.
But I guess on this table.
Yeah, I'll fucking do it, man. I don't care.
But were there like
that's what you want?
Were there any hardships in the career to this point, or has it been just kind of like pretty smooth since leaving Inkbox?
I think I got fucking really lucky. I say this all the time, but I think there's someone at YouTube who like really likes me because like even when a video is like 10 of 10, it'll be like on the trending page. I'm like, there's got to be someone there who's just like, let's go, Kurt. Like, good job.
Interesting.
You're still doing it. But like, I don't know. I feel like I said, once I quit and then that video was like the fucking best video performing, like best performing video. It was like, from there it was like, obviously there was like hardships and stuff, and I'm never, every day I'm fucking worried about shit, you know, stuff going away or like something, one of my videos that was maybe not well received or something, or, you know, I'm worried about a lot of stuff all the time. But, you know, in terms of like the gradual growth and the videos I've made, I've been stressed with editing and time crunches and stuff and everything, like the normal shit. But for the most part, like thankfully I've been really, really lucky with like the people I surround myself with and the videos I've been making, and like, you know, just having a good head on my shoulders, I think, of having a clear vision of what I want to make has been really beneficial. But yeah, all the time, man, I'm stressed all the time. I'm sad. I get freaking weirded out about everything, which is, I think, fair. It's pretty normal with being a YouTuber.
Yeah, of course.
And like a self-employed person, it's like, there's so much pressure all the time. I would
say like we're riddled with self-doubt.
Yeah.
To be a creative person.
Yeah.
You're just going to be like, that is just the normal thing to be.
Yeah. It's like every time I go to post a video, no matter how many subscribers I have or how well the other ones perform, as soon as I upload a video, I'm like, okay, well, this is the last one. No one's going to watch it.
Dude, I feel the same way. Sometimes I'm like, okay, maybe this, who knows, right? Yeah. When you press upload and you press publish, you're like, who knows? Like I have a sense.
Is the Kurtis Conner episode the last episode?
Right. I know. Yeah, it's fucking scary. Now that's gonna run in my head every time I upload. It's gonna be you saying that.
I killed the Colin and Samir show.
Yeah. That was the final shit on the table. Yeah.
So what are your expectations or your hopes with the special? Like what's a win for you on that?
I think a win is, you know, people watching it and enjoying it. And, you know, being impressed, you know, because I feel like I haven't really shown anything from what I've been doing the past like 5-6 years of my stand-up. So I just want people to watch it and, you know, give it a try, you know, and if you don't like it, that's fine, you know. But I want people to watch it and enjoy it. And, I'm just excited for people to see what I've been doing on tour. And, really nervous, really fucking nervous because a lot of people haven't seen, so it's pretty nerve-wracking. But
and I think putting something out there like a big event is a big deal, because then it's like, okay, now you've put a line in the sand and said there's my YouTube videos and then there's this, and this is different. You have to pay to watch this. It's in a different environment. It's shot differently. And so then that assumes that you believe it's some of your best work.
Right. Yeah.
If not your best work to date.
Right. Yeah, so I think
so the
people,
pressure is on, my friend.
I guess so. Please watch it. Yeah, I just want people to watch it, and then hopefully they can be excited for another one day, right?
I'm excited to watch it just because like I haven't not seen even a clip really of your stand up. I'm sure there's some out there, but there's really not that much.
There's like maybe 1 or 2 old bits from like years ago, but
which is going to be a really cool experience, I think, for your audience.
Yeah,
to, like, see you in a different format, a different light, different camera.
Yeah, I'm excited. Really nervous, but I'm excited.
So there's a live premiere for this.
There's a live premiere,
and then it's
on November 10th
on demand,
and then it'll be on demand for a short period, and then maybe down the road, we don't know where it might end up, somewhere else on a streaming service, but maybe not. I'll just put it on my fucking YouTube channel. So at some point, who knows? I don't know. But
best part about doing it independently.
Yeah, I get to do that. Yeah, but as for right now,
you should play it at like drive-in theaters or something. Just do something weird.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
Yeah, that'd
just
be
like
sick.
select drive-in theaters.
Yeah, that'd be pretty badass. All right. So go to your closest drive-in theater.
And just wait till maybe it comes on.
Yeah, just park your car and hang out. And maybe it'll come on. But,
okay, wait. So people go to your website.
Yeah, go
depending
to my
on when
website.
this comes out, it's either available so you can watch it live.
Whenever this is out, you can find the details on my website, kurtisconner.com.
Yeah, great. We'll link that in the description.
It'd be funny if you just pranked everyone in this, and if you go to kurtisconner.com, it's just something totally
it's
different.
Me, like, nice try, idiot. There's no special.
You were looking for details.
This is like Matt Rife pics.
Yeah. My face photoshopped onto his face. Yeah.
All right, cool, man.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.